I was born an American Democrat. I grew up a Democrat. I had a Democrat mother, Democrat daddy, Democrat sisters and brothers, nieces and nephews, sisters and brothers. And we weren't just Democrats. We were big-time Democrats. I ran city agencies and state agencies for Democrat governors and Democrat mayors in cities and states all across this country, from Washington, D.C. to Seattle, Washington. President Obama sent then Vice President Biden to my mother's hospital room to send his birthday greetings when she turned 104 years old. May I have that photograph, please?
Yes, sir.
That's President Biden with my two sisters and my mother. What I'm saying to you is that we weren't just Democrats, we were big-time Democrats. Thank you, sir. In my 50 years in politics, I've been a Democrat and a Republican at different times for professional reasons. But in 2013, I became a for-real, dyed-in-the-wool Republican. And I want to tell you why and how I became a Republican. It was the year 2013. I'd been a Louisiana state representative and a state senator for a number of years. But I was having arguments all the time, every day, with these fellow Democrats about my positions and my votes. And it was just getting real bad. One day, the head of the state Democrat Party made some comments, scurrilous comments, that were picked up by the national media. And I was sitting in the Senate chambers. We were in session. And my telephone rang about 4:30. Picked up the telephone. It was my mother. She was about 102 at the time. She said, "Albert Lee." Now, y'all are from the South. You know, when your parents use your middle name, you're in some hot water. "Yes, mother?" "Albert Lee, did you hear what that lady said?" "Yes, ma'am. I knew exactly what she was talking about." Did you say anything like that?" "No, mother, I did not." Are you with those people?" I said, "Well, Mom, we do belong to the same party." She said, "Well, son, just be careful of who you're with, because I don't want you to drag your name through the mud."
All right.
I said, "Yes, ma'am, I understand. Thank you, Mom." I did not hang up the telephone. I called right then my registrar of voters and changed my registration. And I became the first Louisiana state senator, black Republican Louisiana state senator, since the 1800s.
All right.
Hello, my name is Albert Lee Guillory, and I'm the senator for the 24th District right here in beautiful Louisiana. Recently, I made what many are referring to as a bold decision to switch my party affiliation to the Republican Party. I wanted to take a moment to explain why I chose to become a Republican, and also to explain why I don't think it was a bold decision at all. It is the right decision, not only for me, but for all my brothers and sisters in the black community. You see, in recent history, the Democrat Party has created the illusion that their agenda and their policies are what's best for black people. Somehow it's been forgotten that the Republican Party was founded in 1854 as an abolitionist movement with one simple creed, that slavery is a violation of the rights of man. Frederick Douglass called Republicans the party of freedom and progress. And the first Republican president was Abraham Lincoln, the author of the Emancipation Proclamation. It was Republicans in Congress who authored the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments, giving former slaves citizenship, voting rights, and due process of law. The Democrats, on the other hand, were the party of Jim Crow. It was Democrats who defended the rights of slave owners. It was the Republican President Dwight Eisenhower who championed the Civil Rights Act of 1957. But it was the Democrats in the Senate who filibustered the bill. You see, at the heart of liberalism is the idea that only a great and powerful big government can be the benefactor of social justice for all Americans. But the left is only concerned with one thing: control. And they disguise this control as charity. Programs such as welfare, food stamps, these programs aren't designed to lift black Americans out of poverty. They were always intended as a mechanism for politicians to control the black community. The idea that blacks, or anyone for that matter, need the government to get ahead in life is despicable. And even more important, this idea is a failure. Our communities are just as poor as they have always been. Our schools continue to fail children. Our prisons are filled with young black men who should be at home, being fathers. Our self-initiative and our self-reliance have been sacrificed in exchange for allegiance to our overseers, who control us by making us dependent on them. Sometimes I wonder if the word freedom is tossed around so frequently in our society that it has become a cliche. The idea of freedom is complex and it's all-encompassing. It's the idea that the economy must remain free of government persuasion. It's the idea that the press must operate without government intrusion. And it's the idea that the emails and phone records of Americans should remain free from government search and seizure. It's the idea that parents must be the decision makers in regards to their children's education, not some government bureaucrat. But most importantly, it is the idea that the individual must be free to pursue his or her own happiness, free from government dependence and free from government control. Because to be truly free is to be reliant on no one other than the author of our destiny. These are the ideas at the core of the Republican Party, and it is why I am a Republican. So my brothers and sisters of the American community, please join with me today in abandoning the government plantation and the party of disappointment, so that we may all echo the words of one Republican leader who famously said, "Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last." So let me tell you in greater detail why I left the Democrat Party and why I am a Republican. The first reason is abortion. The year that abortion became legal, there were about 250 abortions reported. Since that time, there have been almost a million abortions every year. Since Roe versus Wade, 63 million American babies aborted. 3/4 of those are black and brown babies. And the reason for that, of course, is that Planned Parenthood has chosen black and brown communities to place their abortion mills, their killing chambers. I supported abortion at the beginning because I thought it was medically necessary to address that 250 abortion problem. There were a lot of women who were losing their lives and becoming permanently injured by these back alley abortionists and their coat hangers. So I did. I had no idea that abortion would become just another technique for birth control and a technique for minimizing America's black and brown communities. And that's the part of the community in America that I am and my children and grandchildren are part of. Abortion, please, sir. Americans, listen up. Years ago, when the Supreme Court legalized abortion, there were only about 250 abortions every year. Abortion was an extremely rare medical procedure, but it was not legal. Back alley illegal abortions sterilized many women and killed some. No one expected that today America would have about 1 million abortions every year. No one expected that today abortion in America would become just another pregnancy prevention technique. No one expected that the racists, yes, I said it, the racists of Planned Parenthood will place their abortion mills throughout black and brown communities of America to eliminate the weeds of society, as their founder said in her own words. Planned Parenthood should wear white sheets instead of their white doctor coats. Today, abortion on demand is out of control. Today, almost 65 million babies have been aborted in America. The Nazis didn't kill that many Jews in Germany. The KK Klan didn't kill that many blacks in the Old South. America, the baby killers in Washington, D.C. won't change this. Only we can. Only we must stop abortion on demand. Your God, no God, would smile upon 1 million murdered babies every year. Let's make 2021 the year that we end abortion on demand. Another reason that I left the Democrat Party, it is incredibly foolish politically for anyone to put all of their eggs in one basket. My ears hurt from all of the weeping and wailing, the moaning and groaning about President-elect Donald Trump. And some of you have good reasons to weep and wail, because once again, you are left out. The train has left the station, but you are still standing in the terminal. Almost 90% of you turned your backs against him. No other group in America voted so one-sidedly, so blindly, putting all of your eggs in one basket. That basket fell. So all of your eggs fell and broke too. Now you haven't earned a seat at the table, so you're moaning and groaning. Hopefully one lesson that you have learned is not to put all of your eggs in one basket ever again. We hope that some of you will join us in working with this new administration, telling our story, discussing our needs. Look at the Republicans' basic American positions on issues important to you and your families. You might be surprised at how often we agree.